Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers, and welcome to the Read Along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and today we're talking about The Light of the Midnight Stars by Rena Rossner.
So, back at it again with The Light of the Midnight Stars.
Yes, welcome.
Part 5.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I only knew that because I already had my document saved as Part 5 before we started.
I'm doing that confusing thing where I named mine Week 3, Part 1.
How dare you? When you actually export your audio, you should put Part 5 in that part.
Okay.
For my sake. Thank you.
I will
Appreciate
do that,
it.
yes.
So yeah, back with. Oh no, actually, there's the thing first. The word that we discovered. Yes.
Epigraph.
The epigraph. What happened in the epigraph?
Elijah enters the Garden of Eden.
Right. See, this is the one. This is the epigraph where I haven't read it super recently because the audiobook keeps tacking it on the end of Hannah's chapters.
Oh.
The ones after this, I'm fine. But this was the one. That's why I was like, "What happened in the epigraph, Anna?" Because I read it like 3 weeks ago.
Well, you're lucky. I don't normally write down what happens in the epigraph, but for this one, I did for some reason.
Awesome. Perfect.
And then that's in the quote part. And then this is also where the mist visits, or just a visit, takes Thomas, the baker's son, and then Joseph and his daughter Katerina. There are villagers dying because of the mist.
They're just vanishing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're vanishing, and then black spots are spreading to people. And then one part that stuck out to me from the epigraph was, it says, Reb Isaac can't fight a storm that has taken root in the hearts of men. And I thought that was very poetic and sad. Very ominous. Mm-hmm. This week's reading is high highs and low lows. So that's the epigraph.
Then we get to hang out with Sarah.
We do. She's 13 now.
She is 13 and wants to get married.
Yeah, well, it would have been normal then.
Yeah, it's still weird though.
We do have a significant time jump in this section. Sarah's 13, and then by the time we get to Hannah, it's been 2 years. So.
Yes, this is correct.
But anyway, sticking with Sarah, she's got a little boyfriend. Gabriel walks with her every day. It's super cute. He runs to meet up with her to walk her to her work, and then he walks her home. And he asks her to marry him. Which, when he does it, she's super sidetracked, thinking about other things.
I'm a snake.
I don't know if that's exactly what she was thinking about at the moment, but she was distracted. And then it was this very cute, wait, what did you just say? And then he has to repeat himself, and it was very cute.
It was really cute.
And then
she says yes.
Yes, after she has a very quick minor panic attack.
Yeah.
She says yes.
Yeah. Or I should say he asks her for permission to ask her dad for permission.
Yes. Which, you know what? I think that is maybe the best way to handle a bit of a dated tradition.
Yeah.
Which it would not have been dated at this time. It's dated now, but I like the way Rena Rossner handled it here. So.
Yeah. Well done.
It's funny, even when he asks her, she says yes, but she has a sense of foreboding that something will steal her happiness because she doesn't feel like she deserves to be happy.
Yeah.
And with what comes later, I was like, oh, that was some
premonitions.
Very strong premonitions. That we, the reader, didn't have to wait very long to get to, but, she had to wait 2 years before things really started to... Well...
And they had to wait 2 years because he comes back and says, your dad said no. Well, correction. He didn't say no, he just said, you can't get married before your older sister does. She has to get married first. And if you remember last time, she's super hung up on this guy who who her dad said, you have to go and convert to Judaism and like learn the law and the language and all this stuff, and just all this crazy stuff he has to go do.
And he has to do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a time limit.
So basically, Sarah's like, I'm never going to be able to marry this guy.
Yeah.
Until, at least on it, because, you know, when you're that young, 2 years is eternity.
It feels like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here we are in the second year of the third year of a pandemic. We're finishing the second year of a pandemic, and it's gone very quickly, but also very slowly. You know, time, that weird thing.
Yeah.
And then they kiss.
They do.
They have their first kiss. It's very cute.
And she almost lights him on fire.
Yes. Sarah's like emotions are becoming more and more dangerous. But like it's more that she's not aware of it when she gets really emotional, and then
Yeah.
So
she's not the best with emotions. But she's a 13-year-old girl.
She is.
Not to say that boys aren't also emotional at that age. I'm just saying she's a 13-year-old.
Yes.
Puberty. So, that whole situation is basically Sarah's section proposal. We have to wait until Hannah gets married. This is going to take forever. Gross. Woe is me. I'm a snake.
That doesn't happen yet.
I know. It's the next one.
It's the next one.
I know. I just like saying that. I'm a snake. But then, so we move on to Levana. Yes. She gets a paragraph. Or is that the next one?
I think it's the next one, because this one she's talking about. She's learning about the stars from her dad, and he's like teaching her one thing, that they have names, and each person has a star assigned to them, and it's connected to the trees, and it's all very interwoven and mystical. And then Ima, her mom, tells her that stars are the souls of dead people. So very it reminded me of The Lion King.
Yeah, same.
In a good way. And so she's like wrestling with the dichotomy of these two separate ideas coming from these two very important people in her life. And she's hoping that she can live with and reconcile both of these concepts together, and have them exist in her at the same time, which I think is really beautiful.
Yeah.
But again, she's just this little star child that is kind of weird.
Yeah. She just kind of hangs out and has creepy, foreboding thoughts and then doesn't say them.
Yeah. Yep. So that's her little chapter. And then we get to Hannah. Hannah.
2 years later.
2 years later. She's doing a lot to help Ima with the sick people in the village and fighting the Black Mist. She also thinks it's silly that Sarah has to wait to marry Gabriel until she's married. And she's like concerned that it's making Sarah resent her, which I think is a fair concern to have.
Which, I mean, I think it is a little bit, but Sarah also knows that it's not like Hannah's fault.
Right.
It's their dad for making them wait. But
so I think it's interesting that she's aware of Abba and the other men being in the forest and like doing what they do, when Sarah was like oblivious to it until she followed Abba. And I'm just curious if that was like something that Hannah just noticed, or if it's because she spent so much time with Abba, like recording things for him, if that's why she knows about it. Because it seemed like it was fairly secretive and like not a well-known thing when Sarah stumbled upon it, but maybe it is more well-known.
I think, Hannah was in the know, but I think you're right that it's probably something to do with her scribe duties, because they're like writing this stuff down in this Book of Solomonars, to like pass down. So I'm sure that she learned from that. But I don't think that Levana knows about that.
I don't think so either. No, I don't think so either, because later she's surprised, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And she is so like this is all happening on kind of an auspicious night where it's like Shabbat and is it also Passover
Or Hanukkah. That
or
was Hanukkah.
Hanukkah? I think you're right. I
I
think
remember.
it's Hanukkah.
I was gonna say I remember Hanukkah being mentioned. But
Okay, so and she's ready to let go of Jacob because it's been 2 years, and she's like, he's not coming back. We haven't heard any word of him. I'm gonna just let it go, and I'll ask Father to find me another match.
And then is so tongue in cheek, like, oh yeah, there's this really smart kid at the synagogue lately. It's like, guys, you're not. For me, the reader, I'm like, really, this is the cheesiest thing. This is what you're doing right now, because both Abba and Gabriel are both like,
yeah, I keep saying his name wrong.
yeah, it's whatever. They're both like, oh yeah, there's this really smart guy. He's a prodigy. He knows all this stuff about the law. He sounds like he's been learning it since he was a small child and all this stuff. Oh, I should have invited him to dinner. Too bad I didn't. It's just like, oh my gosh, you guys.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
And Abba's like, why don't you go find him and see if he'll come to dinner after all? And so Gabriel leaves.
And
Hannah's like, oh my gosh, could it be? Could it be? Could it be?
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, Gabriel comes back.
It's Jacob.
Yep.
Yes.
He comes back, and he's alive and well, and he's a proper Jewish lad.
A convert.
Yes. And Hannah flips out in a good way.
And they kiss in front of everybody. Oh my goodness, the scandal.
Yeah, how dare they?
And Abba consents to them getting married, which was great. And they can get married in 2 weeks. It's going to take 2 weeks to make preparations and get ready. So.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about how much time Hannah and Jacob have really spent together, because during these 2 years they weren't hanging out at all.
No.
And then
but they were
earlier,
pining for each other.
Yeah, while she was healing his sick mother.
They were walking together every day.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, how, in the grand scheme of things, like, how much time had they actually spent together?
Oh, well.
Like weeks, maybe months. And then married in 2 weeks. Like, they're very quick. they're very young and in love and infatuated with each other. And
yes. And living in a very,
excited.
very different time.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Just saying, right, like modern day, that would have been like, whoa, pump the brakes, miss.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you do hear occasionally of someone that's like, yeah, we met and we were engaged in a month, and then we got married within like three months. It's like your whole relationship before you were married was 4 months long. Jeez.
Oof.
That's super fast.
You must have really talked a lot and really gotten to know each other over those 4 months. At least I hope.
Or at least I hope you did. Yeah. But no shade if that's your story, but
no, if that's your story and it's if that's your story and it's worked out for you, amazing.
Yes.
Well done.
Happy for
How?
you. Questions.
Yeah.
So many questions.
No, good for you. But yeah, so they're gonna get married in 2 weeks. And she said that her face hurt from smiling so much.
Yeah.
Very cute, very heartwarming, very wholesome, super fun, wedding time.
Lovely little section. Love is in the air still.
Yep.
Wedding bells are ringing.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
2 proposals in one section.
We
did, because Gabriel proposed, and then Jacob proposed again.
I would argue 2 engagements in one section.
Wow, okay.
Because the whole Hannah thing was already in the works.
That's true.
Assuming your boy could pull it off.
And he did.
Learn Hebrew and Aramaic in 2 years and know all the laws and customs. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty.
He was rather
something.
smitten.
Yeah.
So that's this section. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
I am trying to figure out. There was a flashback of Sarah talking to Gabriel where he talks about being her angel.
Her angel?
Is that the next one?
I thought so.
I don't have it written down.
But I
think...
have my book. I thought it was the next one. Hold on. Oh, it was this section. It was in Sarah's section. Because Sarah was talking about how basically Gabriel had to say like, no, you're nothing like your sister. You're so much better, because she had like crippling self-image and esteem issues, and then
she
he
can't
said,
control her magic, and Hannah can.
Yeah. He says, you are unique in this world, Sarah. I wouldn't want it any other way. It is not for nothing that I am named Gabriel and you are named Sarah. Sarah was Abraham's wife. Our souls come into this world with their own destiny. Blah, 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 blah. More amazing words of encouragement. I promise, Sarah, I promise that I am your angel, your Gabriel, and no one else's. I will go into the fiery furnace if I have to, so that we can be together.
Okay. I wanted to talk about that, or at least mention it, because that does come back around. So.
It sure does. All right. So, anyway, I guess find out what we're talking about in the next section, which is up right now. Go check it out. So,
hey.
Yeah. But until next time, happy reading.
We'll talk to you next time.
Later.
Bye.